Well, there's a myriad of things. I think first of all we have to go back to writer. You are very well known for your teaching skills. Your students speak a whole lot about you. Miss Nigeria competition.
I said, let's pick them up. Let's take them back to Nigeria and let's teach them a different kind of job.
Hello, it's that wonderful moment again when you get to meet another very exciting personality on the program, The Woman. My name is Elizabeth Abaya, and guess who is in the house? I'll leave you guessing, but I just want you to think about something. It is often said that train a woman and you train a nation. A country that bothers to educate its girls is actually banking and saving for prosperity. And my guest today is a typical example of what it takes for a woman to go to school, embrace education, and then work for it and work for other people. I'll leave you guessing while I take a break. When we come back. Join us, you're right on time because I'm about to unveil my personality of the day. She is not just an extraordinary politician, if you ask me, we'll get to find out why. She's not just a lawyer, she's also a business developer. And she's a builder. She's someone I don't want to call a feminist, but she is definitely full of what it takes to make and be a woman, especially when it comes to helping the younger ones. Please join me as I welcome the Director General of the National Women Development Center in the person of Barrister Mrs. Mary Ekberita. Nice to have you on the show.
A pleasure.
And I don't want to tell the public that I came in here, it's been all fun because she's a bundle of a character. She inspires and she educates. She also has a way of making you feel very relaxed. I can enjoy my own cup of tea too, right?
Yeah, who could give you more?
All right, thank you. Now, I came into this compound. I was here some years back, and I know what I saw. I came in here, I was like, are you sure? As a matter of fact, the first day I came here, I missed the way. I had to go back and make a U-turn in front of CBN and came back. And then I got in, I was even more shocking. Tell me, what's the magic wand?
Well, it's just as a woman, this is the National Center for Women Development. It behoves on me, it's my duty to ensure that the image of the Nigerian woman is projected properly. And a woman as a whole is all about beauty, aesthetic value, which I believe that I should add and bring out the image of the Nigerian women. So I'm sure that's why you see the turnaround.
It's amazing.
All the things.
It's amazing.
And we represent the flowers, so we ought to have
flowers must always be
around is part of the woman.
You
Aesthetic value
it.
is very important for the woman, and I take it very serious.
It's important, and you actually radiate beauty. So anybody who sees you and then your environment is untidy. Talking about environment, I happen to have spoken to one or two of your staff, earlier than today, and I had it like a resounding. Oh, our DG is exceptional. She can be quite playful, and when you hit her hard, she gets really mad. She doesn't like environment that is dirty, and I commend you for that. But how does it feel managing a place like this? Because I know troops and troops of people coming here for one thing or the other.
Well, it's very challenging, but at the same time exciting, because it's what I've always looked up to, willing to give and to appreciate people around me. Some of the challenges come, some people, it's difficult to please them, but I go out of my way, out of the extraordinary, to ensure that I put a smile on everyone that stepped into this compound and make sure they live happily, because this is the Nigerian image. This place is a tourist center. Of recent, 2 weeks ago, we have the Swedish ambassador was here, some German ladies came, a lot of international organizations trooping the place. So it behoves on me to make sure and to ensure that they're treated and the image of Nigeria is projected as it is, as expected of the Nigeria. Nigerian hospitality.
Oh, no, they're happy people.
We are happy people, very hospitable, so I have to demonstrate it, and it's part of me anyway.
It's indeed part of you. And coming from the culture where you come from, the Cross River State, I mean, entertainment and hospitality
is part of us.
Definitely.
The people's paradise.
Right.
Yeah, and cleanliness is a part of our culture.
I enjoyed Calabar.
So I think
when I
it is
visited.
the orientation from home that I am exhibiting in this environment. As a Cross Riverian, I ought to be clean. My environment needs to be very tidy and excellent in appearance.
That's good to know. Now,
There is no half measure to it.
When I introduced you earlier, I said you were an extraordinary politician. I knew why I said that. And I'm sure people will be wondering or waiting for me to elaborate on that. You have actually participated in several or a couple of electoral positions. And I like the resilience with which you come up with it. You never give up. Talk to us. How do you grow this?
I contested as governor. It wasn't easy as at 2012 for a young lady of my age then, even though I wasn't up to the age, but I still went to the field and worked very hard and came out with very resounding votes. I think I did excellently well, if I'm not told, and those who were part of the process, at least they appreciated my effort. It is difficult at times to break these barriers, but you just have to decide on what you want to do, focus on it, and do it to the end. In 2011, I contested for House of Reps. I won my primaries. After winning my primaries, I was picked as deputy governor candidate by His Excellency Chief Nyasuko, as he was then the governorship candidate of CPC, the defunct CPC. And looking around, he discovered that I would make a very good deputy for him. He insisted, even though initially I resisted, but through the party structure, I cannot be bigger than the party. I have to accept to step down from my House of Reps and be his running mate. Unfortunately, there was a Supreme Court judgment. The election could not hold. In 2012, he stepped out. And when he stepped out, went for a fresh primary and now emerged as a governorship candidate. And I took the mantle. We went to election. We did very well, with a lot of other political parties merging or working with us to attain victory. But unfortunately, we were, as usual, we were disenfranchised by our opposition. I don't know, well, not really disenfranchised, we were rigged out, let me just say it. Because giving a free and fair election, opposition, the CPC did very well. We have all our structure on ground, we worked very hard, but at the end of the day, we were shocked about the result we saw. But fine, we took it in good faith and faith on.
What is it? You never give up, in spite of stumbling once in a while, in spite of being oiled out, legally or otherwise, you never give up. You have that strong spirit. Some other person will say, okay, I've tried, it's not working out, so I give up. What is it that propels you?
No, you cannot give up. You have to try until you get to where you're going. Definitely, there must be challenges on the way. And if you want to achieve results, you have to keep trying and working hard, believing God that one day I will get a result. If you look around the world, this Roosevelt of America,
yes,
he contested how many times he lost, he still went on. And he became the president of America. And I'm sure one day I will become the president of this country.
I drink to that. I drink to that. I look really forward to a female president for us, because I believe that women have a whole lot to give in. If we come out, I'm not saying that we're not doing very well now, but I'm sure if we bring in that feminine touch, a lot of good things will come out. But speaking of which, you have always been, heard strongly about women, which I think, personal opinion though, may be one of the reasons why you are where you are now. Talk to me, what is it that propels women backward rather than forward in pursuing their own case, especially their career, their desires, their dreams?
Well, I think the present Nigerian women are really doing very excellently well in their area of field. The only area where we're lacking is politics. And politics, I think we need to reorientate our girls on politics. What we need to break the barrier is getting women into partisan politics. That is starting from the party structure. You get a woman to be some of the state party chairmen, treasurer, secretary, like the NWC. You get to infuse a lot of women. Like today, in the NWC of APC, the ruling party, we have only one woman, the national woman leader. In so doing, no woman, any decision against a woman, you cannot find anybody to support. So I think that is the area women are having challenges. And we are indoctrinating these women, trying to reorientate them, to encourage them to participate in partisan politics, and to go back to the grassroots, to join politics, participate in local government elections, councillor and other things. You could start from there to build your career. It would be easier if you learn the ropes, if you learn the ropes by participating. For instance, if you contest as a councillor or a party or state chairmanship, and you lost, it will build you, prepare you for the next election. It's better than just coming up for Senate, House of Reps, or in the national district. It creates a lot of vacuum and it makes it difficult for the women to go. So I will encourage Nigerian women to participate in the grassroots politics and the partisan politics. In business, women are excelling. Look at Lady Stella Okoli. She started with a small pharmacist, and today she has over hundreds of branches all over Africa. Definitely. And a lot of them, even in politics, Mrs. Tinubu, she has been there 3 consecutive times in Lagos, in her husband's state. Something that used to be strange in those days. Something people think is impossible. But it's been possible. Women are doing excellently well. Look at Senator Binta, she won in her Kaduna state, and her state of birth and state of origin. Definitely, and she's doing very well. Women, a lot of women are doing very well.
But a lot of times they say there's a PhD syndrome, women pulling women down. How real is this, especially in the domains of politics?
I think those things are fading with time. Women are beginning to realize that it is necessary to support a woman. And the instinct is very strong now. If you talk to an average Nigerian woman, they're ready to face the challenges. I think there is this eagerness for women to come together and produce governors and possibly a president. So the issue of pull me down syndrome is a thing of the past. The today Nigerian woman is very cooperative. She wants to support her fellow lady to achieve her goals.
That's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. Now, I did mention that there are a whole lot of things, including business developer and, an inspiration to younger people. But I know that coming this far wasn't that easy. What are those moments you think of as challenges? I don't want to call them problems. And how did you surmount them growing up? I know you were with Chambers, and you did a lot of cases.
Yeah, yes. Life itself is full of challenges. Life itself is challenges. If you have no challenge, then you are dead. So from as a child, I knew that certainly the way to success is not smooth. You need to face challenges, and I had prepared my mind in an earlier age to withstand every obstacle on my way, because I have a destination in mind, and I need to focus. I don't need to be distracted by those little obstacles you meet on the way. So I've always been, even in my litigation days, I ensure that if I have a brief, I deal with it diligently, irrespective of the challenge. Just like a woman, a young growing woman, you have all those problems of distraction here and there. But I think I prepared my mind early enough, and my mother assisted me in doing that, molding me to that tough woman that could withstand every storm. So it wasn't really a big deal to me. I don't see anything as challenge. I see it as part of the process of life. Like that is the way I looked at life. I take it as part of life.
Okay, good to know.
If you sweep it under the carpet, the problem will resurrect.
It will still come back.
It will still come back. So you face it and move on. All right. Settle it for once. Move on with your life.
The number of times I've come in here, there's always one activity going on or the other. Can you speak to us about some of the trainings and activities of young women within the environment you've been carrying on, plans and trainings you've been doing?
Yes, we have a lot of programs here, training. First of all, we have a training institute accredited by MBT, Board for Technical Education. which qualifies you to have a diploma. We had an agreement with the University of Abuja, though not started fully, running a master's program on gender and security services and a lot of other developmental programs. First of all, we have the working program, tailoring, that's fashion and designing, cosmetology, indoor and outdoor decoration, soap and pomade making, and a lot of other. That indoor, working means that any other person in the society could walk in here, register, enroll, and learn the skill. Then we have the appropriated program, and we have further one. We have the ICT school, ICT training center, where we run various ICT program, women, in agriculture, on the ICT, entrepreneurship on the ICT, training for the deaf on ICT, the blind, and many other courses in ICT. There are also parts of it that are working. You could come in, register. That's the Bola Ige. It used to be the American corner, but it's now the Bola Ige run by us because the American pull up after 15 years,
Oh, okay.
And I think the training center is doing excellently well.
Very well.
Very well. And we also have other training, the artisan training, where women are introduced into the male-dominated profession. How do I mean? In the past, you don't get women to go into carpentry, tiling, air conditioning, refrigerator.
They're actually doing that?
They're actually doing that. We have about 100 of them in the class now, right now, doing that, where women are involved. They learn how to do tilers, plumbers, air condition repair, refrigerator repairs, and electrical fittings, and a lot of other things, POP, and many other carpentry.
That will actually save a lot of us headache because one of the things we dread is bringing, workmen into our homes, especially when it's just a woman. But knowing that a woman is learning this trade and my fridge can go bad, I call is a babe coming in to repair for me.
I think you'll be very women address.
At
that point in time, she's an eye to your children.
Yes.
For you, and it's very safe. And like in our northern sisters, where you have the bashiga puda, where males are not allowed to enter, it make it easier. A woman will just walk in there and take care of the whatever job he's been given to do in the house, and it's safer. When the mother is at home, she's no longer afraid that a man is coming to fiddle or play or mess around with the children.
Yes.
You have the confidence that a fellow mother like you is working in your house, and for that period of time, she's like security, she serves like an eye to your children.
Definitely.
So I think it's very good. We look at all those things. And why should we leave the training, the construction industry to men alone? Women need to take their share from the construction industry. After all, tailoring used to be a woman trade, but today, find men.
You're going
the
for
salon,
the nails we do.
The nails we do now, men are taking over. So why won't we take over the construction industry with them? We have to share it. Just the way they are sharing our own trade, we are actually training our women to take over from them. And they are doing excellently well. You need to go and see the women in action. They are doing very well. You love them.
What if a man walks in to take training too?
To training? Well, they should go and look for men's center. They could ask our president.
For men's center.
For men's center.
Okay. Guys, sorry. Yours is on the pipeline.
Yes, guys, you could go and ask your president for your men's center. We are just fine there. We don't need men here.
Okay, beautiful. We're cool. All right, so away from your office work and relax a little bit. A little bit told me, and I caught up with you, you like to work out.
Yeah, I do.
What does that do for you?
Well, it does. I added some weight sometime last year, and I think it's pertinent, it's good for me to remain healthy and fit. So I enrolled with the Sheraton, where I do a lot of aerobics and exercise to keep fit.
Still in line with your work, I know you have a research institute. You also have accommodation around here where people come in and pay. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, we have the guest facility, the guest house, 164 rooms.
Seriously?
Yeah,
102
bedroom flat. That's a 2 bedroom, a sitting room. Then we have the 1 bedroom suite. and we have the standard room, which is very big and comfortable and affordable price. The location is excellently, the location is good. In the central business area, you could be connected to other business agencies, so it's very cool, and we have adequate security. Then we have the hostel for like a kind of a bed space. It's about 111. You could, if you have your program, we use it to keep our students for our program, and we also rent it out to earn little income, so you could patronize us. And we also have a research center institute. We host the Nigerian Women Data Bank. Any information you need about Nigerian women, we are in position to provide for you. We give that information locally, internationally, regionally on Nigerian women, on information data about Nigerian women. We carry on a lot of research, infant mortality. We carry on drugs, drug abuse, on is women insecurity. We carried a lot on care pay workers, that is ladies in the street selling akara. How is their contribution affecting the GDP of the country? We try to keep all this record, and it will help with this record. We send them to government for policies to be made.
That's a good one.
To help the government to make policies and to connect them to intervention agencies to assist them to build up their trade. And we have 774 centers for women development across the local government. Even though very few of them are American, but a lot of them are functional, and it helps to bring grassroots development to the grassroots.
That's a good one.
To bring government to the grassroots. And I'm sure when we are undertaking some of our research, most times our research we collaborate with the Bureau of Statistics. I think one of these days would invite you when we are taking up our research work in the field. Perhaps you could.
It will be a pleasure. It will be a big pleasure.
Or first of all, you come to that artisan class. Perhaps we teach you how to put fixed tiles.
I didn't hear that.
We take you to that artisan class and teach you.
I didn't hear that. I'll learn how to do tiles.
You learn how to do that kind of plumbing. You make a lot of sense.
You
make a lot of money.
Yes.
In line, you need an alternate source of income.
Yes.
To add to whatever you're doing.
It's
and I think
work,
that
right?
will suit you.
Fit me.
Suit you. I think you do very well as a tiler.
That's okay.
See,
I wear my overall.
the
And
way you are your helmet.
Nigerians, you're listening. I just got a job. Okay, so when I'm not working in NTA, I'll be there doing
You'll be there, job.
A good one. So when you're
You
not
can
working,
even do it as an NTA staff, as a part-time. When you're free, you just go and take one building
and do it. Okay,
make
so
money.
when you're not working, how do you unwind?
Well, I go to the gym, like I told you earlier, and to see I could.
Like every day?
Well, if time permits, every day. If not, sometimes, most times we have some meetings in the evening. But I try to see that in a week, at least 3-4 times.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But you listen to music?
Yeah, I like music. Like yesterday, I was watching movies till very late. I didn't know it was quite late.
What kind of movies do you watch?
Yeah, I like patronizing Nigerian movie because it takes you to the reality of life.
Especially the epic ones.
The epic, yeah. It takes you to the reality of life.
Generally, what would you say is your philosophy of life?
Well, my philosophy of life, we take life easy and accept circumstances the way they come. And treat people with love.
You've been very persistent with
Yes.
it. The same thing you said, challenge, life itself is challenge. So you should take it the way it comes.
Take it the way it comes, and because there are some things you can't change.
Definitely.
There's some things, there's some issues you just have to deal with. You can't change them.
That's a good one. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And for me, I started by saying that you're an inspiration to a whole lot of people. And today you've done it again, inspiring people. I want to leave on the words she already gave you. Life itself is a challenge. That you wake up in the morning, you should be grateful. And whatever you see, you take it in its strides. Work hard, and good hard money will come your way. And don't forget, Elizabeth may not be the Tyler you are desiring for this. I could be other things put together. Ciao.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind us all that this pandemic is spreading like wildfire. We must all arise to fight this potent and invisible common enemy by adhering to the guidelines and protocols for COVID-19, which includes personal hygiene, social distancing. We must wear masks in public places, obeying the stay-at-home order, and reporting unusual illness to the authorities for investigation.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link. And be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access.
Good morning, and here is the news update at 11. I am Muslima Sholibo. President Muhammadu Buhari has given strong assurances that the desired security and stability will be restored to the northeast sub-region and other parts of the country bedeviled by the acts of crime and criminality. This followed the adoption of new strategies as well as the acquisition of state-of-the-art military hardware towards reinvigorating the fight against terrorists and other criminal elements undermining national security. This was at a crucial meeting with the Northeast Governors Forum held in the State House.
Especially the governor of Borno, that we go to bed and we wake up thinking about you and how to secure our country, because that is the fundamental responsibility of a government.
President Muhammadu Buhari has also signed the instrument of accession of the agreement for the establishment of the African Trade Insurance Agency. The agreement and the agency, which are registered with the Secretariat of the United Nations, is in line with the Charter of the United Nations. And in the meantime, the NCDC has confirmed 290 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The new cases recorded from 16 states indicate that Lagos and Plateau states have the highest number of new infections with 82 new cases each, followed by Oyo with 19, FCT with 18, Edo 16, Kaduna 15, Enugu and Ogun states have 9 new cases each. Others are Kano and Kwara with 8 cases, Cross River, Ondo and Rivers states have 5. Ekiti has 4, Imo 3, while Borno has 2 new cases. Nigeria now has 46,867 confirmed cases, out of which 33,346 have been successfully treated and discharged, while unfortunately 950 have died of the virus. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Tim Priya Silva, has officially inaugurated the Nigerian Gas Transportation Network Code to optimize gas availability and delivery in country, in line with federal government's promise to add value to gas and make it available to Nigerians. This is where we round up this update at 11. Please have a beautiful day and do join us again at 1 a.m. My name is Muslima Sholibo. Have a good day ahead.
This is the network service of the NTA.
The protracted Boko Haram conflict has attracted numerous states' responses to end the carnage, with mixed results. Now, one of the counterinsurgency measures introduced by the federal government of Nigeria through the Defense Headquarters of CAS is the Operation Safe Corridor in 2016. Now, the program, which is aimed at rehabilitating low-risk repentant Boko Haram fighters and reintegrating them back into society, has generated some backlashes in spite of its relative success. Now, only recently, it was reported in some quarters that graduates of this program are being recruited into the Nigerian military, reports that have since been debunked by government sources. Today, our discussion therefore focuses on the federal government's Operation Safe Corridor. Welcome to Insight. My name is Victor Azu, and my colleague Elizabeth Omori is on standby for the media review segment. Elizabeth.
Victor, it's nice to have you on Insight this week. Last week, I had a chat with the national president, National Council for Women Societies, who dealt on the issue of attitudinal change and how a positive mindset can drive development. That will be our focus on the media review segment.
All right, very well then. Let's begin with the discussion segment. I'm now joined by Aliyu Abdullahi, he's a special assistant on media to the president. Very good to have you here, Aliyu. Welcome.
Thank you, Victor, for having me.
Right, and I've also been joined on this segment by Ayo Akonji. Ayo Akonji is a foreign policy analyst and strategist. Ayo, good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Victor.
Now, let me begin with Aliyu Abdullahi. What exactly, as concise as possible, what exactly do we know of Operation Safe Corridor?
Well, Victor, Operation Safe Corridor is a military operation, and at the same time, it's an operation that aims to de-radicalize the members of the Boko Haram insurgents. I always, me in my own way, I always first like to lay a background before I actually proceed. And the background is this: Nigeria has been fighting war against insurgency from almost 2009 or so, and we knew the catastrophic attacks that these Boko Haram insurgents or terrorists has actually dealt on the country, entire country. And this administration under President Muhammadu Buhari has done quite well. First, we knew when about 17 local governments were under the territory or under the control of these Boko Haram terrorists. And under President Buhari, we recaptured back those territories. No single part of the Nigerian territory is under the control of any Boko Haram, but they are still attacking, soft targets, markets, mosques, churches, and people even on the roads and so on. So while the military is still fighting on the battlefront, because terrorism is an ideological warfare, so it's only good that we also look at how do we counter that kind of ideology. Now, you have to look at the recruitment processes of the insurgencies, because where are these people coming from? Let's leave our neighboring countries aside. But those ones within our country, how were they recruited? Now, there are those ones that willingly submitted to the ideology of the terrorism. There are those that were unwillingly conscripted or forcefully conscripted into the fight against Nigerian territory. And there are even those ones who, when they are willingly, but now do not really wishes to continue to fight the terror war. So Operation Safe Haven Corridor is something that is being done internationally or globally. It's something that aims, the bigger picture for this operation is the end of terrorism, or let me say insurgency. And the idea is to get, when you have people who actually either willingly surrendered or captured, you now profile them. You now have a debriefing system where you have psychologists in the army, in the military, that will identify the people that are likely going to be reformed individuals. There are those that no matter how you try with their program, you know that they are beyond reform. So those ones are not the subject of interest of Operation Safe Haven Corridor. So now those ones, for those ones that can be de-radicalized, these are the people that this operation is targeting. And there are advantages and many benefits from this operation. First, you get first-hand intelligence information about the activities of this terror group, their style, MO, modus operandi, and a lot of information. Secondly, you also is a way of giving information to others that are still in the terror war on the part of the Boko Haram, that if Mr. A can actually be reformed and be seen in a good light, that means exactly others can also be reformed.
But then the argument is that in some quarters is that if you have people who have killed and maimed and caused loss of livelihoods and all of that to people, that they should be prosecuted for their crimes. This is the argument, especially from the angle of victims.
That is very true. Now we're talking about the criminal justice system. And this is also an interesting part of the conversation. And I'm a lawyer. I understand what the victims feel or what states require from someone who has committed an offense. an offense so grave like terrorism. We know it. But in a society, in every society, the criminal justice system must aim for one of the following. Whether you want, at the end of the day, redistributive justice system, whether you want reformation, whether you want rehabilitation of offenders. So, but more often than other time, a criminal justice system embraces the combination of all these three ideologies.
Absolutely.
You know, so like I said, so we cannot discard one for the other. We cannot say we will just do, you know, the mosaic laws, an eye for an eye, or, you know, exact, let society state, exact its own pound of flesh. If we see chances of rehabilitation, and also in the process, we do a cost and benefit analysis, and we saw that the benefit of reforming these people far outweigh the cost of putting them in jail or killing them, and that benefits, like I have rightly enumerated, is you exact real-time intelligence and system on how these terrorists operates and how to get to an end of this war on insurgency. Of course, the victims will always feel the pain, but then the bigger picture is the end to the insurgency.
All right. Now let me get to Ayo, who is the strategist. What is your assessment, for starters, of the Operation Safe Corridor?
I mean, I think for starters, it's a very important and strategic policy of the Nigerian military, which, like Barrister Liu just noted, it's meant to complement the operational activities going on in the Northeast. Like we want to say, in fighting insurgency like this, you need to have a stick and a carrot approach. So this is one of those approaches. And Operation Safe Corridor is on a tripod. There are 3 programs going on. You have Operation Safe Corridor, you have the prison program for arrested insurgents who were arrested in the act and who may want to change their leanings. So there's a program for them. And then there's Yellow Ribbon program. And that's for women and ladies, like probably women that got married to fighters, their kids and all of those. So it's a gamut of policies to integrate them back into society. Like you rightly noted, you're dealing with ideologues. Eradicating an ideology is not easy. It's not an easy task. That's why you keep wondering, why will you see young able people being suicide bombers? Why are they dying? What's the problem? So they've been radicalized. So getting guns and bullets is just one part of it. You also have to find a very holistic program that can de-radicalize them and make them understand that the society is bigger, which is the bigger picture, like clearly said. And that's what Operation Safe Corridor is doing. Operation Safe Corridor was conceived with our partners. We're working with the United Nations, the US government, and top countries that are actually fighting insurgency at the global level. And it's been very successful in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Saudi Arabia. I mean, there's going to be a bit of recidivism.
But questions remain as to how, the Nigerian military comes about the number that, is being declared. I hear they're running too close to 2,000 now. Is it as simplistic as having them just bump into the military and saying, oh, we surrender?
Like rightly said, I think we have about 2,000 fighters from ISWAP and Boko Haram who have actually surrendered their weapons, and they are undergoing Operation Safe Corridor right now. And like I was saying, you have operations covers outside the shore of Nigeria. So you have arrested fighters in maybe Cameroon, in Chad, in Niger, who are Nigerians. And once they are arrested by the Multinational Joint Task Force, they are brought back to Nigeria and they're taken to the Operation Safe Corridor, which is in Gombe, and then they're enlisted for the program. They debrief them, they segment them, they categorize them, they put them in a lot of analysis that help the intelligence officers know where they are, because these fighters belong to various camps, various army, various commanders. So there's a whole gamut of policy just to see how they can get through them. First of all, extract so much information from them, and so they can rehabilitate them back again. It's the two-way street.
All right. Now, Aliyu, wouldn't it be rather unsettling in a program like this, where victims are still suffering the harsh realities of the crimes committed by these terrorists, whether they've repented or not? Wouldn't it be rather unsettling for the victims, seeing these guys come back to them after all that has been said and done?
Well, Victor, I won't sugarcoat it, actually. I mean, the victims will always feel the pain, and it's not even going to, like, go away. I am from the northeastern part of the country. Hardly will you see anyone from that part of the country who hasn't lost one or two people. I have lost some people also in the process and in this war against insurgency. So I can share the burden. I can relate with the feeling of the victims. So, but you see, like I have said, the bigger picture, it all depends on what we want as a country. Do we want a system or a distributed system of criminal justice where we take revenge on people who have committed offenses, or do we want to have an end to this war on insurgency? Now, I believe the victims, if properly communicated the benefits of this program and the processes of this program, they will choose the latter. They will choose to see that this war, this terror war, is ended. They will choose that no other family go through the kind of experience they had gone through. Many children were opened. Many parents lost their children.
Of course.
We have the classical example of the Chibok girls, which till date, some of them were not recovered. You can imagine the traumatic experience the parents of these young girls went through. The parents of Le Sharibu, they are still hanging by. So we can understand that. But now if you ask the parents of these victims whether you want to see the person who abducted your daughter killed or in jail, or do you want a system where no other family should go through the kind of experience, traumatic experience they have gone through? I think that is where the answer lies. That is one.
That will be difficult to answer.
That's a difficult answer. Absolutely. But it actually, Victor, it actually comes down to that. Do we want a better society, free of insurgency? We want an end to the terror, or do we want to keep a certain pound of places from people who have done wrong for us? So it's neither here nor there. Like I said, the victims will continue to feel the pain, but as a government will do the right thing, because the government is responsible for the entire country, 200 million people. Victims, they have to do justice for the victims. They have to also do justice for the rest of the country. And now, justice for the country, part of the promises that President Muhammadu Buhari campaigned on and promised Nigerians was an end to insecurities.
Okay.
Now, part of the largest, when he came in the first time, the biggest part of insecurity we have in the country then, in 2015, was this very insurgency, this Boko Haram terrorism. Absolutely. So the president, I want to believe, with the advice of his commanders, he wants to see an end in his life, in his tenure, of this insurgency. I know that insurgency is very difficult to end, to bring it to a conclusive end completely. America is still fighting, I think, in Afghanistan and a number of countries. Yeah. But at least let us see it to almost an end. And this kind of operation, the radicalization programs, are kind of programs that fight ideologies of the members. Now, let me give you an example again. Most of the people, even those ones that willingly entered into this insurgency, they were living with us, they were part of us, our brothers, sisters, and so on. Why did they get into this fight, apart from those ones that were unwillingly conscripted into it? Largely, we have to look at it from a lot of perspectives. The northern part of the country is, the poverty rate in this country, when you look at it, the northern part has the highest. And even within the northern region, northeastern part has the highest within the northern region, almost 90%, compared to Lagos, which is about, the poverty rate there is about 10%. In the northeast, it's about 90%. So that means there are 90% chances, or in every 10 people you see, young people you see in the northeastern part, 9 are likely unemployed and unempowered. So now, when someone comes with an ideology of such like the Boko Haram ideology, it's easier to sell it to someone who has no future, has no dreams, and he will just buy it. But imagine now the military and the federal government is giving an alternative story. The danger of a single story without another one is it is the only one out there in the space, so someone is likely to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. But when government now say, look at it here, if you surrender, these are things that can wait for you, we can reform you and rehabilitate you and possibly empower you and reintegrate you into the society. It sends a message to those ones that are still fighting on the wrong side of the wall that there is an alternative life for you, if only if you can surrender and change what you are.
For all the arguments you have thrown up, what's worse is that there have been reports in some quarters in recent times that some of these repentant so-called Boko Haram fighters are now being absorbed into the military. How do you explain this?
Although I'm sure the military has their spokesman, and they have actually, I've read the story, the same story you have read, and the military has come out and debunked it completely. It's false in its entirety, and it so happens I wear many caps. I also went through the military, so I know the process of the recruitment process in the military. Once you have issues like this, whether you were actually prosecuted or convicted for any offense, or you have been part of a criminal gang such as this, you can't get into the military. One may say they may actually lie. They may not feel this kind of information, but the entire operation of the safe corridor operation is being handled by the military. So they have the data and the information on each and every member of Boko Haram that is actually, that have surrendered or that is being considered for this Operation Safe Haven Corridor, because like I said, they are the drivers of the project. So they cannot now circumvent their own processes of recruitment. So I believe that is totally misleading. There are no members of Boko Haram that will ever be be allowed to join the military. They can be reformed, empowered, rehabilitated, reintegrated, but to fight on the side of the Nigerian military, that is an absolute fake news.
Let me get back to Ayo.
Yeah.
Now, the defense on the part of the Nigerian military is that those that are being rehabilitated, talking about the Operation Safe Corridor, are the low-risk fighters.
Yeah.
Now, pray tell, how do you differentiate between the high-risk fighter and the low-risk fighter on the side of the Boko Haram terrorists?
Yeah, I think it has to,
because the goal is the same.
It's the same, actually, but the modus operandi of them joining these operations varies. The low-risk fighters are fighters that were conscripted against their will. So Boko Haram actually comes to a village where there are young and able male that are there. They come there and they kidnap them in droves, both men and female. The ladies become their sex slaves, and then the men become their fighters. Those are the low-risk fighters. So when they're against their will, if you resist them, you know that you're dead. That's your death sentence there and then. While the high-risk fighters are actually fighters that actually joined Boko Haram or ISWAP because they believe in the ideology of what they're fighting or what they're propagating for. So it's very easy. And then if you notice, the Nigerian army and the Nigerian military's operation is decimating and degrading and debasing them across their strong point. Like I said, they had about 15 local governments. They've lost all of those already. So now they have a shortage of fighters. So now what they do, they now come in to conscript people forcefully. And those people who are there, they are like on the cliff. They're in between. They want to get because they force them. It's not the ones that they're trying to say, come. surrender your weapon, and they will de-radicalize you. And these are the guys that are actually surrendering. These are the people that fall under the banner of about 2,000 fighters who are actually going through this program right now. And then over time, after 8 months or 9 months or so, they begin to integrate them carefully back into society. Why the high-risk fighters? Of course, they're taking enemy fire, they're taking fire back to the enemy's camp, neutralizing them until they feel, oh, the Nigerian army has a superior firepower than us, then we'll surrender our weapons. If they arrest them in the process, they go to the prisons, and there's a prison program for them also to there. The whole thing is to see how, one, Nigerian government and the current leadership has constitutional obligation to safeguard every Nigerian. Okay. In doing that, these policies are part of what they're doing in safeguarding every Nigerian. And it's a very successful policy, and I'm very happy Nigeria has actually embraced it. I think in Africa, we're one of the first countries actually running it. And it predated this administration. I think started during 2013 or 2014. So it's a laudable policy. Yes, it's a very, very laudable policy. And then government is a continuum, because in the end of it, if it wasn't laudable, the public government won't continue with it. But because it has helped our security, we'll move on with it.
Now, Aliu, because I've been wondering, what is the plan of government concerning the graduates of Operation Safe Corridor? How exactly are they absorbed into society?
Well, thank you, Victor. I like the words that you use, graduates. Of course, you see, like I said earlier, there are people who are capable of being reformed. There are those ones that are not capable of being reformed. And even in a class, there are someone who can excel, pass out, and there are some who will actually not make it. You may enter together to a class, but you may not live together as a group. So definitely, the Nigerian military is not stupid. It's one of the most intelligent armed forces, especially in our continent. They have all manner of professional psychologists and so on and so forth. So during this stage where they are kept, like he said, the prison, like a kind of prison, a confinement place in Gombe, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, my state, they will be studied, they will be profiled, there will be series of debrief has already been ongoing, and experts will now see those ones that will actually be safe to be reintegrated back to the society. Not everyone, even among those ones that willingly surrendered, that entered the program, not everyone will graduate, like you put it. Some, through this process, you will find that they are not going to be, that ideology is so embedded that you cannot radicalize them. So for those ones, they will still be taken to a prison or to a criminal justice system where they will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And if found guilty, we know the punishment for terrorism. Now, but for those ones that the military, through this program, found out that it is safe to release them back, there will be plans for them. I may like to think plans such like an empowerment program, where, because the
which
problem...
has not been stated?
The problem, because the radicalization program cannot come without an empowerment at the end of the day. What is an empowerment? It's a light at the end of the tunnel. Remember what I told you. There were people, even those ones that willingly joined this fight on the terror side. They are people, they are part of us. They are not people from anywhere, apart from the foreigners that are part of this thing. And principally, you see, most of them, I gave you the example of the poverty rate in the northern part of the country. The long years of neglect, of that part. And of course, this is not by, I'm not blaming the preceding governments at the federal level, but even at the state and local levels. Governments were unmindful of how to develop the human capital in those areas. So now, if you do the radicalization program without an empowerment, you send them back to society. I mean, there are chances that you achieve nothing. So there has to be a kind of an empowerment program. You know, thank God this government is known for so many empowerment programs, even for the citizens. And even there is something we did not discuss before, because there is this argument about how are you now concentrating on the perpetrators, reforming and empowering these Boko Haram members without settling the victims also on.
Absolutely.
And people are saying government has not done much in that area, but that is not true. I want to state it on this program, that government has been doing a lot in trying to settle the people that were the victims, and also the people that these people visited terror on them. A whole commission, the Northeast Development Commission, was established as a response to that. I know when governments were building schools that were destroyed by Boko Harams, houses of people that are living in IDP camps, they were urged to go back to their communities, roads, even farmlands, even waters to fish, where grasses, there is this kind of grasses that is called typo grasses that grow inside the waters. So there are some communities around Borno and Yobe whose primary occupation is to fish. The government actually worked on those waters, and this kind of grasses reduces also the crop yields for farmers. So government has done that a lot. The fact that a lot has not been communicated to the Nigerian people, that is why people felt like the victims have not really been settled or nothing has been done. Okay. But construction and a lot of things has been ongoing, both from the federal government and from the respective state. I know Yobe state government and Borno state government has done a lot in that regard.
Let me go back to Ayo. Now, he just mentioned state governments, and that reminds me, would you say, you know, in spite of all the arguments that have been advanced, would you say that the war on terror, given these strategies, that is actually yielding the desired results? Only recently, Governor Zulum came out, you know, to attack the military verbally, to say that they are not doing enough after his convoy was attacked. So would you say that this strategy is yielding the desired results?
I mean, it is. I'll say in the affirmative. It might not be as fast as we want it to be, but it's yielding desired result. And like you said, the accusation that was given by the governor of Borno State, who was doing very well. I mean, all those things we were talking about happening in state, the governor of Borno is extremely doing well. And then the military responded back and said, no, they didn't attack him, because they said they know the enemy habits. So the gunshots that attacked him was the gunshot of the enemy. Boko Haram, which they've been fighting for a long time. So it's really good to have those facts out there. But I think they need to do more. We need to see that state government actually, we need governance, we need human capital, we need to see schools about. The Northeast is like a black hole. And then these insurgents are exploiting that black hole. If you notice, it was last week, the commander of the US AFRICOM said that they've understood that Al-Qaeda and ISIS want to come to West Africa. You know, so it tells you that there's a fertile land here, but already the good thing here is that the Nigerian government and the Nigerian military is up to the task. It might not be as swift as we want to, but they are standing strong. And they also responded to it gallantly and said, yes, they are aware. And some of the reports they have were sourced from our Nigerian intelligence agencies also too. So, but the good thing here is that terrorism is an international phenomenon. You can't fight it in isolation. You have to fight it with your partners. And we have our partners who are across the globe, who are sharing intelligence with us, who are buying weapons from, who are training our officers and all. But we have to come down to the main part that we need governance too. So people also need to know those they elect to lead them for 4 years. Okay. Because if we don't have governance in the state or in the region, then these young people become a willing tool for terrorists to exploit them. And what do they come and say? They say that your Western education is not correct, so you just go and burn it. But with these programs that is de-radicalizing them, they are getting to see that, no, there's so much to be achieved from that. So I rather won't go with that fake or false ideology that you people are talking about, but rather we'll go with the right part of it here. And you see, the NSA has a behavioral units. So because when you're dealing with, like I said, you're dealing with ideologues. So rather than, you can't easily eradicate the ideology they have in them, but you can monitor their behavior and see if, like Aliu rightly said, if ABC are willing to change their behavior to be conscripted back into society, then they continue to monitor them individually. Then those who are seen as not wanting to, rather are still okay holding down with the ideology, there will be a different solution to deal with them that way too.
Well, let me ask you.
Yes, please.
How might government reassure victims of the insurgency that their sufferings are not in vain? How do they get justice? Because this is a major, point of disagreement for many. This is where even those of them who are victims say government is not getting it right. How might government reassure them?
Extremely well. I think government is working with the communities, some of the communities where this dastardly act happened, and where these people who are reintegrating might actually go back to. They're talking with their religious leaders there, both the Christian religious leaders and the Muslim religious leaders, and then the leadership, traditional institutions also there, to help curate or disseminate this information to the families also. So all of this is part of the Safe Corridor program they're doing. As they're trying to get them back in, they're also working with the communities and telling them this is what we're doing, this is how it's being done, this is the way it's done everywhere, and then also find a way that they can feel a sense of justice forfeited against them, so that everyone can, in the end of it, cohabitally live peacefully for the growth of the country and then the region at large.
All right, Aliu, I'm beginning to run out of time anyway, but what do you expect of communities that these repentant fighters return to after the Operation Safe Corridor program?
What do I expect from the community?
Yes. What kind of attitude do you expect from them?
See, there are also, the answer is not simple. You know that, Victor. We can take it from many perspectives. There is, I can go the theological part. That's if God can forgive us, who are we mere mortals not to also forgive? If you truly repent and ask for forgiveness, there should be, I believe that before the federal government reintroduce or reintegrated back to those communities, there has to be dialogues. There has to be some kind of peace initiative where the repentant Boko Harams that are going back to these communities will really truly meet their victims and let there be kind of a peace process where people will, those ones that did the offenses, will actually beg for forgiveness, true forgiveness. And the community, although it's not going to be easy, will at the end of the day, and let me even tell you one thing, Victor. Yeah. Some of these members of the Boko Haram that I'm talking about, the same communities that they are going back, they have two kind of people there. They have their victims and they have also their own families. That is it. Half of them are their families, half of them are the people they terrorized before.
So what would you expect of them?
So that's why I said before the government reintegrate them back to the society, there has to be a kind of peace-building initiative, dialogue, where forgiveness and apologies can be offered. And then also, like I've said, at the end of, again, we have to look at the bigger picture. The end of insurgency, there has to be something that these people that are being reintegrated back will actually do that will also offer to the Nigerian people that is so great that will assuage the pain that the victims suffered or underwent through the war on terror. So it's a lot of process, in my own estimation.
All right. Now, Ayo.
Yes, boss.
Drawing from the last comment of Ali, would you prescribe a truth commission similar to what we had in South Africa, or perhaps coming back home, the Oputa panel, where people can come together and tell ourselves the truth, forgiveness is sought, and then you start as if it's a clean slate? And how would you expect it to operate?
I will have said you're a clairvoyant, Victor, because what you said was what was in my mind when he was talking about the dialogue, which is like a truth and reconciliation committee, or a commission rather, because you have to, that is very important at this level, because the hate or the pain is extreme. So it won't be so easy to be able to just forgive like that. But when you have that kind of a commission, it will be able to allow for a honest disposition from both parties. So I think I'll call for that. I really like the fact that we can have a truth commission whereby both parties will have a peaceful dialogue, and then we hope that will ensure lasting peace in the region and the country at large.
And how would you expect such a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to run?
I would not second guess the government or the military hierarchy.
Let's assume you are asked to recommend.
I mean, we have
or prescribe.
We have Nigerians of lasting integrity who are nationalists and who are build bridges. And I think it would be good to have a few of them so as members and to lead the commission, so that those who are coming in can feel a sense of justice and then understand that they will be given a fair hearing and they'll understand their pain and their cries in the long term.
Ayo Akonji, foreign policy analyst and strategist, thank you for coming on Insight.
Thanks for having me, Victor.
And also an equal measure of thanks to Aliyu Abdullah, his special assistant to the President of Media. Thank you indeed for your insights.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
Now, up next is the media review segment with Elizabeth Omori. Just last week, Elizabeth had a chat with the President's National Council for Women Societies.
Are general evaluations of ideas and people one encounters throughout one's life. They're important because they can guide thoughts, behaviors, and feelings. Thus, change occurs when a person goes from being positive to negative. How can we ensure that there is a change of attitude towards development in all spheres? My guest, who is the President, National Council of Women Societies, Lara Bashuda, will enlighten us. It's nice to have you in our studio, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us, mindset and attitude, what is the relationship?
Mindset and attitudes. Well, usually mindsets are things that have been inculcated into, individuals. Things that you've already been reoriented to believe, things that are right in your mind. So mindset affects attitude, because from childhood, those things that you must have picked from your parents, from the school, from the society generally, affects your behavior when you become an adult.
Okay.
So you already have a mindset of, maybe negative mindset of you must make money, you must be rich, you must have certain things. Definitely, when you become an adult, it will affect the way you behave. It will affect the way you behave in the society, in your workplaces, anywhere you find yourself. So mindset and your attitudes, they are related.
Okay. I understand we have a change campaign, the Change Begin With Me campaign. Has this campaign been able to play out its objective?
When this Change Begins With Me, the day it was launched, I was there. I was very happy. During the Change Begins With Me, people started to, adjust. They started to become positive in their thinking. They started to become positive in the ways they behave. So Change Begins With Me is a good project.
When we say the Nigerian factor, is this not a mindset?
It's a mindset.
How can we change it?
When we were growing up, we learned everything about ethics, about the way to behave from school. We learned from our homes, from our parents as children. We learned how to behave. We learned how not to pick people's things from school. We learned how not to covet other people's things. When you see people having things, don't think that, why not me? Everything like that we learned from our mothers, and then later from our teachers. Teachers were revered when we were growing up. But these days, if a teacher reprimands a child, the parents will come with police and arrest the teacher. So things began to fall apart from there. All we think about is money, how to become very rich, how to ride the best cars, and how the parents are no longer at home to even take care of their children. The mothers are running after money. The fathers are running after money. The children are left on their own. At best, they are left with some house girls and house boys. And you know what happens when you leave your children with such people. In the past, a teacher is like a mini god. You fear your teacher. When you see your teacher on the road coming, it's as if you just stand still to know what is the next line of action. If you see your teacher in the market buying things, automatically you have to go and collect those things from the teacher and take home to the teacher and say, sir, is there any other thing, or ma, is there any other thing you want me to do? But these days, I mean, you can just brush aside your teacher and just go ahead and do what you want to do. That is what is going on. And I think we need to just come back. We need to do something about it.
All right. Before we talk about attitudinal change regarding public assets, let's talk about the family. Is the family performing its role, playing its role in this regard?
The family is not playing its role. The family system has fallen apart. We don't have family system as we used to have before. In those days, the father is there, the mother goes to work. I remember when I was growing up, when I was going to get married, then in those days they say, oh, I want to marry a teacher. You know why? Because a teacher will close and come back home at maybe 3 o'clock and take care of the children. So, but nowadays we have, mothers that are professionals. I'm not saying I don't have anything against that, but they are gone from work from morning, especially bankers, for instance.
Career women.
They've gone to work from morning till maybe 8 o'clock in the night. The father also has gone from morning till 8 o'clock in the night. These children are left in the hands of only God knows who. From school, the drivers pick them up sometimes, or they walk all the way from school back home. Only God knows what happens between school and home. And when they get home, maybe they have uncles, they have housemates or houseboys who will decide to be fiddling with them or be doing terrible things with them. The parents don't know. By the time the parents come back from work, they're already tired. They're tired. All they want to do is to eat and, sleep, and so that they can wake up early to go back to work. So it's work, money. The children are there on their own. Then, of course, the television is there. The children watch all sorts of things on the TV. In fact, sometimes the children wake up, you are tired from hard work, you are asleep. The children will sneak out in the middle of the night and put on the TV and watch all sorts of things. That is what we see.
No monitoring.
No monitoring. Parents don't monitor their children anymore. And then the teachers that we know that are in the school that are supposed to bridge the gap between the parents and the children's moral, they are also the same. What you see in the schools are teachers selling goods, selling shoes, bags, and all that kind of thing. In fact, there was a year one of the governors in this Southwest went on a surprise inspection. You know what he found? He found his teachers outside in the village schools playing ayu. You know what they call ayu? Some things, games. Playing game and drinking palm wine in the school. And the children were there in the class doing on their own, doing whatever they like. So that is what is happening in the schools now.
But really, where have we gotten it all wrong? The teacher is not playing his or her role. Parents are not playing their roles. Where have we gotten it all wrong?
The society. The society is, I don't know, we have a mixed up society. The society thinks of one only by what they have. It's what they see. If you are, even from home, some parents, a child that brings money home is the best child at home. So, irrespective of where they get the money from, this is my child, he has a car.
Questions.
Yes, they don't ask questions. He has a car. They start dancing. My child has come back home with a car. And then the society too. Somebody leaves the society, within 6 months is back and has made so much money the leader of the society gives him a chieftaincy title. So, you know, other people are there, they are watching. They are saying, okay, this man that has just left us less than 1 year, he has made so much money, we have to go and do something about it. We too, we want to be like him. So the thing starts from there, little by little. So now, even the young 20-something-year-old want to ride big jeeps. You see, they ride all these 100 and something million naira cars at 20-something years. I don't understand.
25, 26.
25, 26. All of them are competing with different kinds of vehicles. I mean, what do you want others, the poorer people, to do? Some of them will go into robbery.
Sends the wrong signal.
Yes. Some of them will go into cultism where they take things by force. Some of them will begin to do this yahoo just to make sure that they meet up with their peers. We have to start from the beginning again. We have to go back to basics. That is what I believe.
Now, let's shift attention to public assets, maintenance culture. Do we really have one?
That's another big issue in Nigeria.
It is not my personal property. Why should I take care of it?
Yes. Let's start from the homes where we live. You rent a home, or let me say a house, because it's no more a home when you are not taking care of it. You rent a house, beautiful house that somebody spent their money to build. Maybe you are the first tenant, and because you are not the one that built it, you destroy the house, everything is falling apart, and you are living in that house, and you say, oh, after all, it's not my house. I'm not going to waste my money putting this house in order. The landlord can come and do it when I have packed out. But you have forgotten your own comfort is there. Hygiene is there. Your children are living in that house. If things are falling apart, anything can happen to your child. And moreover, the way you take care of your things, that's the same way you are going, other people's things, that's the same way you are going to take care of your things when you have. What we do is that we believe that it's government property. So when we come, we do things, we leave things everywhere, we dirty the area, destroy things in the offices, destroy things in the homes that we rent, and we believe that it's not ours. How do you want God to bless you to have yours? When God blesses you to have yours, how do you want to now train your children that you have already left to misbehave in other people's homes? How will they take care of your own home? So that is the problem that we don't envisage.
The family play an important role in all of this. Thank you so much for your time. We want to thank you for coming to our studio to enlighten us and to share your thoughts with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's it on the Media Review segment this week.
And that's Insight for this week. Elizabeth?
Don't forget, a positive mindset is key to driving developments. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. My name is Victor Azu. Bye for now and do stay safe.